Welcome back to our Top 100 Players series. A playlist link is down in the description box below, along with a link to NBA Uprise, where we'll be doing NBA content this season. Now, let's jump into things. Klay Thompson finally returned to the court after missing 2 seasons due to an ACL and Achilles injury. In his return to action, Klay Thompson averaged 20 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in about 29 minutes per game last season. Those are pretty good numbers, however, he wasn't quite the Klay Thompson of old. He had his first season shooting the 3-point ball under 40%, and he only shot 43% from the field in general. His true shooting percentage was a shade below 55%. He also wasn't quite the lockdown defender that he had been known to be before those injuries. He's still one of the best shooters in the league, still a very solid defensive player, and a key reason why the Warriors won yet another championship. And who knows, he could bounce back to being 100% of his former self next season. I just can't predict that, which is why he comes in here on this list. Paolo Banchero was the first overall pick in the NBA draft by the Orlando Magic in this past offseason. After playing 1 season at Duke, where Banchero looked phenomenal, averaging 17 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists, he now makes the jump to the NBA, where he has the potential to be a star player right away. Standing at least 6'10" with an NBA-ready body, some athleticism, some passing ability, and the ability to hit shots off the dribble and attack the rim, Banchero is the total package as an offensive player and jumps into a situation where he could be the #1 guy right away. Banchero looked impressive in Summer League, and I expect him to win Rookie of the Year this season and put up phenomenal stats in the process. Jaren Jackson Jr. was the key defensive piece in the Memphis Grizzlies' rise to prominence last season, which saw them have the 2nd best record in the Western Conference. Jackson led the league in blocks per game with 2.3 per contest, and that was in only 27 minutes per game. He finally saw a healthy season where he played 78 games. Before that, he had never played more than 60, and he had missed most of the 2020 to 2021 season due to injury. And while he already was a core piece of the Memphis Grizzlies, I think this past season was needed for Jackson to establish some trust, not only in that he could play a full season, but also do it effectively. Now, he did struggle on the offensive end. While he averaged 16 points per game, it was not efficient. He only shot 48% inside the arc, which is not good for a big man, and he shot 32% from 3. This is the next area for Jackson to improve in, as defensively he was dynamic. He's not the best rebounder for a big either, averaged less than 6 rebounds per game in his 27 minutes. He could do a better job there, but his ability to protect the rim, as well as to switch out onto guards and contain them, is a very good trait to have, and next season he starts a 4-year contract extension where he's making about $25 million per year. Jordan Poole broke out last season in his 3rd year for the Golden State Warriors, becoming a key piece in their championship run. Poole averaged 18.5 points per game and 4 assists in 30 minutes per contest, shooting 45% from the field, 36% from 3, and he led the league in free throw percentage at 92.5%. Poole has developed into a dynamic scorer, somebody that can hit 3s off the catch and hit them off step backs. He can attack the rim and finish with speed. His body control is impressive, finishing around the rim, and when he gets to the line, he doesn't miss free throws. At barely 23 years of age, and in an organization that develops players extremely well, the sky is the limit for Poole. Maybe last season he overachieved a bit, but I can't bet against him improving even more as he heads into his 4th season. John Collins is one of those players that is consistently involved in trade rumors, yet is never traded. It was even reported that there was basically no chance that he would return to the Atlanta Hawks next season, and he's still an Atlanta Hawk. Over the past 3 years, his numbers have dipped a bit. In 2019 to 2020, he averaged almost 22 points per game and 10 boards. The season after, he averaged 18 points and 7 rebounds, and last year he averaged 16 points and 8 boards. His 3-point percentage those 3 seasons has dipped from 40% to 36% last year, and his finishing inside the arc has dipped from 64% to 61% to 59%. This is weird because John Collins turns 25 years old in a couple of weeks, so he's still a relatively young player. You have to wonder if the trade rumors have affected him. And next season, he goes from being potentially the 2nd option to the 3rd option as the Hawks brought in DeJounte Murray. With all that being said, John Collins is still efficient. He had a 61 true shooting percentage last year. He's an athletic big who's okay as a rim protector. He can shoot 3s, he can finish around the basket, and he's a good lob target. Having DeJounte Murray and Trae Young next year could help him in that regard. So he's still a player that belongs on this list. His decline over the past 3 years has been a little bit weird though. Jarrett Allen surprisingly became an all-star player. He made the all-star game last year for the Cleveland Cavaliers, as he averaged 16 points per game and 11 rebounds, and is looked at as one of the best rim protectors in the league. He's efficient inside the arc, shot 69% from 2, and a good enough free throw shooter, shooting 71% from the charity stripe. Jarrett Allen is agile as well, can defend a little bit on the perimeter when switched out onto guards, and is the perfect example of a big man that plays really well to his strengths. He's also still only 24 years old, so there might be some more improvement there. Jalen Brunson left the Dallas Mavericks after they made the Western Conference Finals in order to head to the New York Knicks. Brunson got paid about $26 million a year because last season he averaged 16 points per game, 5 assists and 4 rebounds in 32 minutes per contest. His efficiency numbers were extremely impressive. He shot 50% from the field and 37% from 3, and while he's undersized defensively, he's not a negative on that end, and what really got him paid was some impressive playoff performances. In the first round, Brunson averaged 28 points per game against the Utah Jazz. In the final 2 rounds against the Suns and the Warriors, he averaged about 18 to 19 points per game. Brunson now becomes the lead perimeter playmaker for the New York Knicks, and given the uptick in role, it'll be interesting to see what numbers Brunson puts up next season and how that might affect his efficiency. I think Brunson is a legitimate candidate to average 20 points per game next year. Tyler Hero won 6th Man of the Year last season for the Miami Heat as he came off the bench and averaged almost 21 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. He did this while shooting 45% from the field and 40% from 3, and he has turned himself into one of the most dynamic scorers in the NBA. It'll be interesting to see how his role evolves long term, if he might get even more offensive responsibility and might earn himself a starting role. Frankly, you could say he's already earned a starting role with his play last season, but Miami is one of the best teams in the league and can afford to bring him off the bench. Hero now heads into the 4th and final year on his rookie contract and is due for an extension next offseason. If he has another season like he did last year, I expect him to be potentially a max contract level guy. CADE Cunningham heads into his 2nd year after being the 1st overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft, and he improved over the course of last season. Before the All-Star break, he averaged 16 points per game, 5 rebounds and 5 assists, while shooting 39% from the field and 33% from 3, true shooting percentage of 49%. After the All-Star break, he averaged 21 points per game, 6 rebounds and 6.5 assists, shooting 46% from the field and 28% from 3, true shooting percentage of 53%. I fully expect the improvement that CADE Cunningham showed over the course of last season to take a jump going into next year, and he's a candidate for a sophomore breakout and could be an all-star next year. He has that type of talent. He'll now have Jaden Ivey next to him and a great lob target in Jalen Duren to run pick and rolls with. He does lose Jeremy Grant, but he also has Sadiq Bey, who I think will take a step forward next year as well. And Detroit could be a very fun team in general. If Cunningham's 3-point shooting can improve, it was a question mark coming into the league despite him shooting well in his one college season at Oklahoma State, but if he can improve that 3-point shot, he'll have an easier time driving the lane and making use of his size and playmaking abilities. CADE Cunningham could end up much higher on this list by season's end. As this is a projection for next season, I'm taking into account that potential improvement, but this could still be a little bit low for him. I could see him becoming a top 30 player next year. Desmond Bane was arguably the most improved player in the NBA last season, and while his teammate John Morant won the award, Morant actually gave it to Bane, as Bane went from averaging 9 points per game his rookie year to 18 points per game last season. He shot 43% from 3 in both those years. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, and he started doing more damage as a shot creator, driving the lane and making some plays for others. He averaged almost 3 assists per game. While Bane still needs to become more efficient inside the arc and a better ball handler in order to potentially reach star status, he still has time to improve. He's 24 years of age, which is a bit old for a player entering their 3rd season, but his development so far has already surprised me, and I would expect even more going into next year. Defensively, he's a good defensive player as well, and he fits into that prime KLAY Thompson mold as a starting shooting guard. As I said at the start of the video, subscribe to NBA Uprise, link in the description box below, and I'm out of here. I'll catch you in the next one. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.